a turning point. I'm going to call this her Declaration of Independence. So she writes a letter home, and that's in WMI. It's on the website at the Indiana State Museum, too. My dear Aunt Fanny, yours is the first received today, and I must tell you it made me very unhappy. For if you think I am going to return to New Harmony next summer, I again repeat, it's a very mistaken idea. Some of you have had teenage daughters in your house, right? Or some of you have been teenage girls, you know. It's a drama here. I'm not going to come home. What must I go home for? To see and kiss you all, ruin my life and forget all I know? For I know if I return, all is finished. And I intend quite different. I have my head set on being a singer, and a singer I will be. If Mama and Papa cannot afford to give me all the tuition I require, I know enough, and am willing to make my own money. Back to Fanny Eckert, the aunt. For I will sing anywhere, and making my own money can dispose of it as I like. If Papa will take an English opera company and tell me what operas he wishes me to learn, I will do. But as to coming home, losing a whole summer, and going on the dramatic stage, I will not. And I mean what I say, as I am no longer a child. I do not say this in a moment of anger, for I have thought it since I first came to New York. She was 15. Remember, 16? Do not build castles, Aunt Fanny, for nothing but the most important case will call me home. Your affectionate niece. And it's written February 4th, 1885, from the Red Sox Staten Island home. Her Declaration of Independence. She was 18. And she did not go home. And that was it for the Golden Theatrical Troupe, for Grace. She had her own way she's going to go, and so she did it. She joined the Casino Opera Company, operating out of New York. Again, they might start in New York, but they're going to tour other countries, other major cities as they go. She was the understudy to Lillian Russell. Lots of pictures over there of Lillian Russell dedicated to Grace. They were friends. She was understudy to one of the biggest names on the stage at 18 or 19. Well, let's see, 89, about 20-something. Poor Jonathan. That hat is supposed to be in Amanda's and Robin's possession, but they couldn't find it in Indianapolis. It's there, they just didn't find it. So she was in Los Agali, that's a minor role. She was in The Fencing Master, alternating with Marie Tempest. Sidebar. There's Marie Tempest. And the thing about Marie Tempest is, I don't know how, no record of whether or not they got along because they took turns playing the role. She lived a long life, 64 to 42. And if you Google her, she'll pop up, and she'll pop up actually with that picture and the recording of the singing that she did of The Fencing Master. Because Marie lived, and because she lived, she left a trail. So let's go back to Grace. She's 1891, and this is for the Casino again still. First is Lola in that opera, and then is Santuzza in the same opera. So that's Lola and Santuzza in the Rustic Cavalier, the Cavalleria Rustica. And this was a popular play at the time. You're going to see that some of these are going to ring a bell. Yeah, I've heard that. I know this opera, I know that opera composer. And others are just going, who are those? I like this picture, so it's the one I started out with, but I zoomed up. Her best angle is over here like this. It tames the nose, I think. So she toured with DeWolf Hoffer after that. We're back here from Lola and Cavalier Rusticana. And now then she joined a touring company, DeWolf Hoffer. And then she followed that with a Broadway appearance on Brian Bora, but I'm right here now. Because that's where she came to Evansville in 1894. Grace at the Grand. A little bit about the Grand. I noticed as you come in here, it says Opera House. And Amanda was we're not sure exactly when that went on above the door there, right? This was always at the Grand Opera House. So it's in Evansville. Look at the detail on that. 1889. Got to backtrack a little bit and know that if you're going to hear a musical performance in 1889 or 1894, it's going to be live. And opera, among other things, toured. And you would have actually heard a touring opera. By the way, I haven't said this. Grace was singing in English. They translated the English, and her claim to fame is going to be through English translations. That's a picture from the newspaper the day after it opened, and that doesn't tell you very much, but here's where it looks now, and this is the post office, and this is not the Grand. The Grand is over here, and let me get here, and there's a picture that I took from the same location, and that's a Fifth Third Bank now. This is Sycamore. This is 2nd Street. And let's just change the angle a little bit. That's what it looked like. Anytime you look at a theater, you're only looking at the front door. Yeah, the actual business is back inside there. That's where the auditoriums are going to be. Built by the organization that owned that company, that Evansville Businessmen Association. You can use the rest of that building. Opened in 1889, 74 feet across, copper and whatever decorations there. That's not 1894, but just to give you an idea what they looked like inside the Grand. I don't know why those women are there. 1930s, 40s, 50s? Oh, yeah, seating for 1,700. Downtown Evansville, as these converted to motion pictures, downtown Evansville, up and through about 1960, could have easily seated 10 to 15,000 people in theaters across the board. From the Lowe's, which seated 2,500, the Carlton seated 900, the American about 700. So, yeah, 1,700 people, probably more. And for Grace, they packed the house, so it must have been standing room only. Seats are automatic folding chairs with armrests, hat racks, and coat rods. These chairs are elegantly upholstered with silk, and for each one of them, a full and uninterrupted view of the entire stage is to be obtained. Now, that's generous, because anybody ever go? I actually watched movies in the Grand a couple of times in my youth. You could be behind the pole, like this person right here. She does not have an uninterrupted view of the stage, right? And March 26, 1894 was the day after Easter, and the ladies were there in their Easter finery, so I don't know if that hat would give you a clear shot of the stage. But anyway, that's what the Grand looked like. 1914, this is the Vendome Hotel, one of the major hotels downtown. And actually, when Grace was done with her performance, they gave her a reception at the Vendome Hotel. This is the alley right here, and the story is that the performers used to slip out the back door and get over to the bar at the Vendome, and they didn't even have to get out on Main Street. This would be taken just about where the Greyhound bus station is. Oh yeah, yeah. It was live performances from time it was created, 1894, 1889. It converted over to movies somewhere. This is 1914. A little bit earlier than that, it became very controversial, and they quit doing movies for a while because the smaller theaters complained about it. And then they came back to it because it was inevitable. That's just where the business was going. So they converted for a while, it was live performance, and it's vaudeville and motion pictures. And then eventually, well, it was never only motion pictures. It was, if the Broadway Theater League, like something where people came into Evansville with live touring productions, they went there. So there were lots of big names here. Red Skelton, and just the big names out of vaudeville would have toured through here because they were part of the major Broadway circuits, vaudeville circuits. That's what it looked like towards the end of its life in 1944. It actually was closed in 62 and torn down. And that's 62. It was torn down shortly after that, and that's then sit there for a while until Fifth Third bought all that and built it up. This is essentially what it looked like. And again, remember, you're always looking at the front door of a theater. Inside it didn't. It got facelifts and changed, but it was essentially the same place. And when they opened in 1889, they brought in an opera, and this was a major touring Emma Abbott, it was there for 3 days, and everybody who was anybody in Evansville came and paid the price. Big money. Like they auctioned off the boxes, like $400 a shot, and that's a lot of money in 1889. So Grace, well, you know, when you go into touring productions, even today, if there's somebody who's big in the production and they come near their town, they will often move them into and let them come through their hometown. So Evansville is close enough to hometown for Grace. So remember this, March 9th, she's coming. This is in the New Harmony paper. Then we begin to look at the words that are going out. The Wolf Hopper engagement on the 26th will afford an appreciated opportunity for the many friends of Miss Grace Golden, the prima donna, to hear this talented young singer. And she's the daughter of Martin and Belle, and this says she has never been seen in Evansville before. Someplace else says she's here often, so I don't know. She might have been there, but never in these kind of productions. And we're going to have somebody representing New Harmony, so they get special seats for New Harmony. And Zinneman's a big name. Chuck Hudson's house is Zinneman House. There's a house in Evansville by Riverside, by the museum. It's always under renovation. It's very nice. Right now it's getting a wrought iron fence in front of it. And I think that would be the house that this would have come from. So they're going to make sure the people from New Harmony get good seats. And, got to remember, 1894, you could get on a train in New Harmony and go to Evansville. And they ran special trains from New Harmony, Poseyville, and Stewartsville to see Grace. And then over here they said they even added Henderson and Princeton. So, you know, they set it up so that you could come in either the morning or evening, see the performance, and go home. Would have been neat. I mean, you could get on the train and go to Evansville or come from Evansville to here. That didn't happen all the time. These are special because Grace is coming. And that's from the Evansville paper about when it's coming, and this is the Wolf Hopper in costume for Panjandrum. Play he wrote started disappeared. Prices, $25, $50, $75, $1.50. Quite a number of seats have been reserved in the orchestra for Henderson, New Harmony, and other towns. But the Evansville patrons will be okay. They'll have their spot to see Della Fox, Grace Golden, and DeWitt Hopper in Panjandrum. And this is March 21st. And Bella will be there. She has taken a box. She's with her oldest son. Martin's out working with the company, so he couldn't be there. But lots of other New Harmony. I didn't keep all the places where all the New Harmony names were listed, but you'd recognize all of them that they were there. Once it said 100, once it said 80, once it said 70. So somewhere between 70 and 100 people from New Harmony. That's 10% of the town, right? Yeah, still, right? It hasn't changed. And that's costume is that, which is right back there. Thanks to Robin and Amanda for finding that. We sort of found out looking through the things, and I saw it, and I said, what is that? I forgot what I did there. Robin helped me out. You'll get older one of these days. So now there's 80 people who came to see Panjandrum Monday. All expressed themselves as highly pleased with the town's lady, Miss Grace Golden. And those pictures are in WMI, and that is what Grace looked like in Panjandrum. I don't like the Panjandrum uniform. I don't think it's a costume. I don't think it's very flattering to her. And the audience described here. The audience was the most fashionable ever seen at the Grand. The ladies were all in their new Easter gowns and bonnets and were looking their prettiest, while the gentlemen seemed handsomer than usual. Whether it was their new suits or not, the writer is not prepared to say. And this is now it's Easter Monday, so the women have had it's the second day they get to wear their outfits to see Grace.